A Florida man is selling an F-16 fighter jet online. A Florida mayor found $1 million worth of cocaine while fishing. Florida schools are removing Shakespeare over sexual content. And 2 Florida divers find 32 cars sunk in a lake. These are the weird stories for Friday on Weird AF News. They are all from the state of Florida, because on Friday we only do weird news from Florida. That's our thing. It's called Florida Fridays, only on Weird AF News. Let's lead you into the weekend with some Florida news. A Florida man is selling an F-16 fighter jet online. If any of you happen to be in the market for a used fighter jet, you only have to pay $8.5 million. I can't help but be very curious how a Florida man got a hold of an F-16 fighter jet. Let's keep reading and find out. I'm going to guess there's some F-16 fighter jet thievery going on, but I don't want to prejudge. I mean, it's a Florida man. There's probably some honesty there. Palm Beach, Florida. That's where all the rich people live. Everyone's got a fighter jet down there in Palm Beach, I think. An AR-15 is not enough for the Florida man. They need a fighter jet to protect themselves against the drag queens. These drag queens aren't going to come and read to our kids at the library on Sunday during volunteer work. Not if I got something to say about it with my fighter jet. A Florida man is attempting to sell a fully functioning F-16 fighter jet. Yeah, I would hope it's fully functioning. I mean, what are you going to do with a fighter jet that isn't fully functioning? I want those rockets to fire, man. I'm not going to buy an F-16 fighter jet where the rockets don't fire. And it better take off. Does it come with a helmet? I think you need an oxygen tank as well, because you're going up really high. I know nothing about fighter jets. I watched Top Gun. That's about it. Where did this guy get the fighter jet? It says from Jordan. Jordan the country or Michael Jordan? Oh, guys, Michael Jordan's in some rough times. He had to sell his share of his basketball team. And now he's selling his fighter jets on Craigslist. It says here, this jet is not a stripped-down model, but a fully functioning used fighter jet, an F-16 Viper. Not a stripped-down model, guys. Don't be fooled by those stripped-down F-16 Vipers. You want the fully functioning one that can destroy an entire country. It says here the 1980 multi-role fighter jet, which has an $8.5 million price tag, is being offered alongside 2 other F-16 Vipers, according to this website called The Drive. It's an automotive website that also writes about defense topics. This is a very strange website. They sell cars, but then, they cover some defense topics. Maybe they sell a fighter jet or 2, some nuclear warheads. Nothing to see here, guys. The advertisement says, this is not your average used fighter jet. This plane is a fully functioning combat aircraft, and it's not demilitarized. You don't want those demilitarized ones, guys. Like I said, you want to be able to join a war somewhere in the world. It says here, Jet Lease, a private aircraft leasing and purchasing company with offices around the globe, purchased this used aircraft from Jordan, which acquired dozens of second-hand F-16s from NATO allies Belgium and the Netherlands between 2008 and 2017. The aircraft can reach a maximum speed of Mach 2.05 at 40,000 feet. In case you're wondering how fast that is at home, children, that comes to about 1,573 miles per hour. It's pretty swift. It has a maximum range of 2,400 miles and an initial climb rate of 62,000 feet per minute, according to the website. Well, I mean, this could come in useful if you just want to get the hell out of Florida really quickly. That's what I'd do with the jet. A Florida mayor caught over $1 million worth of cocaine while fishing in the Florida Keys. That's what you call a blowfish, guys. Hey, we're starting up top with a great pun. Let's get into the details. Tampa Mayor Jane Castor made a really big catch while fishing in the Florida Keys with her family, spotting and hauling in a package containing 70 pounds of cocaine with an estimated street value of approximately $1.1 million. I want to know what the mayor used for bait. I'm asking for a friend what they used to catch the cocaine fish. Okay. According to the U.S. Border Patrol, the package was discovered south of Marathon. Jane saved the location of the find on her watch as the family hauled the package out of the water onto their recreational boat and contacted the Monroe County Sheriff's Office to report the drugs. Oh, and this is the one honest politician in all of Florida. I don't know, 70 pounds of cocaine. If I'm bringing it back to the station, it's going to be 30 pounds of cocaine at that point. I found 30 pounds of cocaine. 20 pounds of cocaine? Where did you find 10 pounds of cocaine? Sheriff, here's the 2 pounds of cocaine we discovered today. Oh, God, this is amazing. Where did you get all this cocaine? I caught it fishing. I was on the way to the station to give it to you guys, actually. That's where I was on the way to doing. That's right. I was going to turn it in, of course. According to the Border Patrol, the package contained 25 total bricks of cocaine. Here's a quote from Chief Patrol Agent Adam. We appreciate the ongoing support from our boating community. Thanks to the efforts of this Good Samaritan, 70 pounds of cocaine are in federal custody and off our streets. We encourage the community to immediately report any suspicious activity to local authorities, especially if you find yourself with a lot of cocaine. You bring that to me. Bring the cocaine right over to me. We know what to do with the cocaine. We want to get it off the streets and up our noses. Off the streets and out of our oceans is what I meant to say. Well, at the end of the day, this is a story about some honesty in the state of Florida. You got the mayor turning in the pounds and pounds of cocaine. These sorts of drugs wash up all the time on the beaches of Florida. There was a story last month that I did not cover, but it was about a lot of marijuana that had washed up on a Florida beach, and people were very excited about it. A lot of kids were getting out of school early to go to the beach. All of a sudden, there's a big beach interest in the teenagers. They're going to the beach. Oh, no, we're searching for crabs and starfish and whatnot. I'm going to bring my metal detector to the beach. All of a sudden, I'm into it. I'm into the beach lifestyle. And nothing to see here. Concerns over sexual content leads to some Florida schools removing the great Shakespeare. We have some Florida school districts, unfortunately, shying away from Shakespeare, along with other classic and popular materials as well. They say they're attempting to comply with new state laws restricting books with an instruction about sexual content. We have here Hillsborough County, Florida, to become the latest school district to take the step, telling teachers they could assign excerpts of plays such as Romeo and Juliet, but not the entire text, because there's some hanky-panky going on. Is that why? Here's a quote from Joseph Cool, who's a high school teacher in Florida. I think the rest of the nation, no, probably the world, is laughing at us right now, taking Shakespeare in its entirety out because the relationship between Romeo and Juliet is somehow exploiting minors. It's just absolutely absurd, in my opinion. And I agree with Joseph Cool. Yeah, it's absurd. And the world is laughing at Florida and has been for quite a long time now. But that doesn't stop Florida from doing Florida things. Just so sad. The children don't have a chance in Florida. Even if they wanted to read Shakespeare, which you have to celebrate, any child that wants to even read anything these days, you got to be like, okay, read whatever it is, just read, because kids don't read. They're too busy with their face in the TikTok. Never mind reading Shakespeare, which is quite difficult. If any child attempts to read Shakespeare, I'm like, kudos. I don't even understand it. It's very highfalutin language. And yeah, there's some sexual undertones in there, but, what are you going to do? Ban Nat Geo as well? There's some pretty racy photos in National Geographic, yeah? Man, Florida is just so scared of learning, I think, is what's going on here. They want to grow stupid bigger than grapefruits, and they are. I mean, you're going to have to ban Frankenstein at this, because I think Frankenstein is trans, right? Because there was lady and man parts that built the body of Frankenstein. I don't know what that is. There's some gender identity issues, and Florida hates that stuff. Now, it says here, in addition to some Shakespeare works, in Lake County, they removed And Tango Makes Three. And then there was a lawsuit about it, and then the Lake District said the book is no longer banned. So I guess you could just enact some lawsuits to get Shakespeare back in the hands of some children. Whatever you have to do to get these classic works of literature into the faces of children, I think you have to do. It's very important for them to read these things, in my opinion. But unfortunately, with these parents and these conservative school districts, the conversation around sexual orientation and sexual activities and gender and whatnot seems to supersede an overall education. It's very, very sad, in my opinion. It's like you can't talk about genitals. with Florida children at all. No, don't talk about lady and man parts at all. Children, you're not ready for that now. Now, if you could get dressed, you're late for your AR-15 lessons. If you could... I mean, the contradictions. It's just so cockamamie. Pardon my language. Have you ever wanted to create your own podcast? Well, Spotify's platform lets you easily record and distribute a podcast everywhere, even earn money, all in one place too, for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters. Record and edit on your phone or your computer, send it to Spotify and everywhere podcasts are heard. They even have video podcasting options as well. Spotify for Podcasters allows you to earn money with ads and subscriptions. Best of all, it's free. Try it. Download Spotify for Podcasters or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started. And good luck with your podcast. Good luck with your life, man. Divers have found 32 cars sunk in a Florida lake, and they think it could be linked to some cold cases. A pair of amateur sleuths found 32 vehicles while diving in a Florida lake. They say the vehicles could be connected to some missing persons cases. Sounds very fishy. We have Doug Bishop and Ken Fleming. They told the media on Sunday that they found these vehicles in a lake near the Miami International Airport. Here's a quote from Fleming, one of the divers. "We're here trying to solve missing persons cold cases. When we discover a spot like this with multiple vehicles, it pretty much indicates that a crime has been committed where they're disposing these vehicles and hiding them from law enforcement. We have a case where someone drove from Pinellas County down to pick up their relatives at the airport, and then they disappeared. So in this spot, we're near the airport. It's a large body of water. It has easy access to get into, so we would target that as a potential foul play spot." The diving duo say they've found over 60 submerged vehicles across Florida state during their own investigations. They are currently working on cases that range from 2 months old to 40 years old. It's all about providing answers for families where they don't have them. You got a missing person, and people want answers. The police in both Doral and Miami-Dade County told the media they were investigating and working to remove the cars from the water to get more information. The divers said they would turn over any information they had that could assist in solving these cold cases. Wow, this is nice. Very inspirational. Whenever I come across Florida citizens doing anything to help out, I'm always happy to read that because a lot of these stories are just about the degenerate behavior that's going on there. These two divers offering to help on their own time and on their own dime, because I'd imagine it's not cheap to go diving all around places. And obviously, the local police need assistance. They're very overwhelmed in the state of Florida because everybody's taking off their clothes at the Walmarts, you know? They got enough on their plate here. All those drugs down there, people doing crazy shit, pardon my language. They need some assistance, and you got two citizens that are getting involved and getting families answers, hopefully, at the end of the day. You got families who have a missing persons, and they don't have answers. They want answers. This can be very helpful, I think. And when you think about it, there's a high level of risk when you're diving around in Florida lakes because, you know, as you know, and as I've sung about on this podcast many times, there's alligators everywhere. And I mean everywhere. Time for alligators everywhere. Yay!
Got an alligator in my backyard and nobody cares. Nobody cares. Got an alligator in my patio and nobody cares. Nobody cares. Had an alligator at my birthday party and nobody cared. Nobody cared. Had an alligator in the front seat of my Volkswagen and nobody cared, 'cause it's Florida. Alligators everywhere and nobody cares. In Florida there's alligators everywhere and nobody cares.
Yay! Hey everyone, thank you so much for spending some time with me, Jonesy, your host, and the Weird AF News podcast, Florida Friday edition, brought to you in part by a lot of my listeners who are so helpful. They sent me Florida stories the last couple of days, so thank you very much. I appreciate those stories. You make my job easier. And if you'd like to support the show, you can leave a review on Amazon or Apple Podcasts. You could tell a friend about the show. That's very helpful. It doesn't take up too much of your time. Perhaps you're at a barbecue over the weekend. Maybe you're busy driving a car into a lake. You can tell your friend before you drive it into the lake what your favorite podcast might be. If If you want to support the show with some ducats, you can buy Jonesy a coffee or join the Patreon, and you can do all that on the website, weirdafnews.com. Paid for by the nice donations from my listeners and people in the Patreon, which I'm very, very grateful for. I appreciate the support all these years. It's been wonderful. And I hope that you'll continue to support moving forward as we continue to grow the Weird AF News podcast. One of these days I'll have a larger studio and I won't have to record inside a closet. Although right now it seems to work. It's okay. I'm just doing it. I'm just living life, guys. And you should too. Just make do with what you got. Life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, right? That's what they say. I'm sure there's a funnier quote than that, but I can't think of one right now. Anyways, I hope you're having a nice weekend, or you had one, or you're about to have one. If you want to email me, it's funnyjones@gmail.com. If you want to call the show, please leave a message, 646-450-2012, and good luck with your life, man.